Hey everyone, welcome to a new lesson. Now we have created the walking cycle for the robot. Now it's time to create the complete first scene. So I call first scene this part where he enters, he waters the plant, and then goes out of the scene. So it's a really simple process. You can see he walks here, so we need to get him to walk all the way to the middle of this room, and then you can see that the water is dropping here on the flower. He moves the arms watering the plant, and then he walks away. So we need to create that first scene. Okay, so let's go to our main comp, and right now all we have is this robot walking here. Of course he's not walking anywhere. Let's turn this to third or half. Okay, so we need to create the actual movement with the position keyframe here for the main composition. Okay, so we have the robot water can composition, and I want this robot to walk to the middle of this room from here to here. So I want this to take 3 seconds. So I'm going to place a keyframe here for the position, and I'm going to take another keyframe here right when he stops walking, here on the 3rd second. I'm going to create a new keyframe here, and now on the first keyframe he will be out of the screen. So when we hit play, we will have something like this. Of course we need to fix the walking cycle, because right now he walks only to this part and then stops. So we need to take these keyframes and make them longer. So if we stop here on this in this 3rd second, that means that on this composition I want to go to the 3rd second too, and these keyframes should be repeating themselves up to this point. So I'm going to create a marker here with the asterisk of my keyboard, and now I know that this is the time where he will stop walking. So I'm going to take again my first 4 frames of the left foot, and I'm going to take them here. Then again I'm going to copy. So this will not be exactly at 3 seconds, but the idea is to make it as close to as possible. Okay, now let's copy the first 4 frames for this right foot and copy them until we get to the 3rd second. Now we have the walking process up to the 3rd second, but on this 3rd second you can see that the legs are like this, so we need to fix that. Right on this point, this leg will stand still, and 5 frames later this leg will go back to normal. Like this. And of course we need to change also the position of the body. So grab your body and let's duplicate all of this. Ctrl C, and 5 frames later copy this. Now delete the remaining keyframes, because we need them to be only on until the 3rd second. And now we have the walking cycle up to the 3rd second. And right here, the legs stop. In fact, this leg should be like this. Okay, now if we go back to our main comp, we now know that this last keyframe is here. So we need to take this keyframe, the last position keyframe, up to this indicator. So when we hit play, we will have the robot walking. Let's see how it looks. Okay, fine. Let's see how it ends. You can see that there's a little delay here because he steps here with the right leg and then just hovers over to this point. So that means that we need this keyframe to be right when this leg stands still, this right leg, right on this point. Okay, now this looks more natural. Okay, that looks way better. So we have these keyframes and the body keyframes, and now on this part, right when he stands still, right here, we need him to be watering the plant here. So first, there's something that we need to take care of, and that's the fact that the water, right now the water is all the way. You can see that there's water here. So that's wrong because he would be watering the floor. So we need this part, this water, to be right on this point when he gets in the middle of the room. So I'm going to crop this layer with the opening bracket, and now we don't see water until he stops. We can take it a little farther away. Okay, now right here, when he starts watering the plant, we need the hands to be moving. Take a look at the preview, how the arms move. Left, right, left, right. And then he walks away. So this is really easy to accomplish. Just create 2 keyframes for the position here on the left and the right hand. And now 10 frames later, we are now here, go 10 frames later, and you are going to move this hand to the left like this, and the left hand will move as well. You can see that the watering can is attached to the right hand, so if we move the right hand, the watering can moves as well. So right now this movement goes like this. Now we have to move 10 frames again, and we're going to copy these first keyframes so that he goes to the left and then to the right again. So he will go to the left and to the right. Now grab these keyframes and make them easy ease so that the movement is smoother. Alright, now we have a nice movement here on the hands, and now 10 frames later, we're going to repeat this same process. So grab your 3 keyframes, copy them with Ctrl C and Ctrl B, and paste them here. And the same for the right hand. So we're going to have this movement. Perfect. Now let's see how it looks on the main comp. He gets here with no water coming out of the water can, and he waters the plant. If you want this movement, the arms movement, to be slower, you just have to go and separate these keyframes a little. You can delete the second copy and take these frames a little farther away. Maybe instead of 10 frames, it's 20 frames. So we now have a separation of 20 frames. Let's see how this looks. Okay, this can be nice. Now move again, 20 frames, and copy these keyframes and the right hand keyframes too. Now let's see how it looks on the main comp. Okay, so right here, when he stops moving, we can turn off the layer, the water layer, right here. Maybe a couple of frames later, we're going to take the water layer, and with Alt and the closing bracket, we're going to trim this layer off. So we no longer see water here. Take a look. Okay. Now when he gets to this point, we need this robot to be walking again. But first, there's something that I want to change, and it's the position of the head. You can see on the preview that he looks down on the plant when he gets here. He gets to the plant, looks down, and waters the can. So I want this rotation on the head. So when he gets to this point, to this part, right when he gets standing in the middle of the room, I'm going to open the rotation for the head. And remember that the anchor point is now here on the bottom, on the middle bottom. So we are going to create a keyframe here. We're going to move 10 frames, and we're going to change the rotation to the left so that he appears to be looking down. Turn this into ECE's keyframes, and he will go like this. So when he stops watering the plant, we need him to look to the front again. So I'm going to create a keyframe here, right on this point where he stops watering the flower. Let me turn this down for a second. And then here, I'm going to make the rotation normal again. Take them to 0. So he will look up again. Maybe close a little closer. And now he will start walking. So here what we're going to do is to let's open the position again for the left and the right foot, and all we need to do is to copy these keyframes again. But first, if we just copy these keyframes, this is what's going to happen. First, let's place a marker here. Now, if I take these keyframes and just paste them here on this part where the indicator is, this is what's going to happen. The legs won't start moving when he's watering the can because the software is taking this movement from this position all the way to this position right here. So what we need to do is that here on this part where the indicator is right now, we're going to create a keyframe so that this keyframe and this keyframe are the same. And then is where I'm going to copy all of these keyframes and I'm going to paste them. Copy these two and paste them here. So now he will remain standing still, and when he gets here, he will start walking. You can take all these keyframes a little bit closer and we have the walking cycle again. Now we need to repeat the body movement, so I'm going to copy all the keyframes from the body position, copy them, and right when he starts walking, which is right here, I'm going to paste this keyframe. Now let's go back to our main composition. So far he gets here, he waters the plant, and then he has to start moving. So right when he starts moving, which is in this marker here, I'm going to create a new keyframe for the position here, and then when he stops walking, which should be 3 more seconds, so around here, 1, 2, 3 seconds later, I'm going to take him all the way across the room. You can see how the body looks. Pretty cool. So this is what we have so far. The robot enters the room, he waters the plant 2 times and goes out of the scene. So that's the first scene of the animation. For the other scenes, we will repeat kind of the same process. So let's go to the next lesson, and remember that you must have everything rigged just like we rigged this character with the water can. So let's go to the next lesson.